Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we dig through, stacks of articles, research, personal stories, all sorts of things, and pull out the absolute best bits for you. So think about this. You're speaking English, feeling okay, and then bam, someone talks to you, and you can't understand their accent, even though you know the words.
Yeah, that disconnect.
Exactly. Or maybe it's that wave of shyness, that little voice saying, oh, my English isn't good enough. It's super frustrating when you want to connect, but just hit a wall.
It really is.
Well, today, our mission is all about unlocking your English potential. Not just, learning lists of words, but really getting good at the art of communication.
That's the core of it.
We're diving into this amazing personal story from someone learning English. It's packed with real-life stuff, tricky situations, great advice from a teacher. We're basically going to unpack their whole journey and pull out the most valuable stuff for your learning.
Okay.
Let's unpack this.
Yeah, it's so true, isn't it? These challenges, they pop up for pretty much everyone learning a language. Those moments of doubt, or getting confused, or even just feeling a bit embarrassed. And what I love about the story we're looking at is how it shifts things. It moves away from just like studying English in a classroom.
Right, the grammar rules and tests.
Exactly, and moves towards actually using English.
Yeah.
Out there in the real world where it's messy and unpredictable, but also kind of wonderful.
Yeah.
So we'll be pulling out actual strategies, things you can try right away, turning those tricky moments into, chances to actually grow and connect better.
Definitely. It's more than just words and rules. It's human connection, really.
That's it. The whole experience of communicating.
Okay, so let's start with that first big hurdle, accents. Our learner, the person whose story we're following, shares this experience that, honestly, I think so many people will relate to. They're working in a cafe, feeling pretty okay with their English. Then this couple comes in, husband and wife. The husband starts talking, and our learner just blanked, couldn't understand a word. They knew it was English, they could hear the sounds, but the meaning, totally lost.
Oh, okay.
It was so confusing. They actually thought the cafe didn't have what he wanted. Can you imagine? So they had to call their boss over.
Oh, gosh.
So the boss just walks over, has a quick chat, totally smooth, sells some coffee and sandwiches, no problem.
Right.
And our learner just felt, in their words, really stupid. Started thinking, is my English even good enough for this job?
Oh, that self-doubt creeps in fast.
It does. But the boss was great. She just said really reassuringly that it's totally normal when an accent is new to us. Turns out the customers were from Scotland.
Ah, the Scottish accent. Yeah, that can be tricky if you're not used to it.
Exactly. So the question for you listening is, have you had a moment like that? Where an accent just completely threw you, made you feel lost, even though you technically know English?
It's incredibly common.
Yeah, and this story gives us some fantastic ways to think about handling it.
Absolutely. And what the teacher said later, when the learner shared this story in class, is just spot on.
What was the teacher's take?
The teacher immediately got it. Said something like, okay. You're used to the English people speak in London, probably, but you aren't used to the Scottish accent.
Makes sense.
Your ears aren't used to it yet. That's the key part. It normalizes it instantly. It's not you, it's your ears needing training.
Right. It's not a personal failing.
Exactly. The teacher was clear. What happened to you can happen to everybody. It's okay. It just means your brain needs a bit of time to adjust, to map those new sounds onto meanings it already knows. It's like auditory acclimatization.
Auditory acclimatization. I like that. Sounds very scientific.
Well, it kind of is. Your brain has to do some rewiring. And the teacher even gave a time frame, which she called the 2-week rule.
2 weeks.
Yeah, she noticed it usually takes about 2 weeks to get used to this new accent, which is great, right? It gives you something concrete.
Yeah, it's not just someday I'll get it.
Right. And the advice for how to train your ears was super practical, too. Like watch films with Scottish English or Situation comedies from Scotland.
Ah, so deliberate exposure.
Deliberate active engagement, not just background noise. Really listen to the rhythms, the sounds, because, learning a language isn't just vocab lists and grammar drills.
Mm.
It's about training your ears, your brain, to process these new sound patterns, like building a muscle. You need targeted practice.
That idea of ear training, just reframing it like that, takes away so much of the frustration, doesn't it? It's not I'm bad at English, it's my ears need a workout.
Precisely. It makes it manageable, a skill to develop.
And speaking of clever communication, there's another great story from the cafe in our source material. It really shows this art of adapting how you speak.
Oh, yeah. What happened this time?
So a bit later, two other foreign ladies came in, and it was pretty clear right away their English was, well, very basic.
Okay, beginners, maybe.
Yeah. And the boss, again, just instinctively knew what to do. Our learner watched her and noticed she completely changes her English.
How so?
She started using very simple sentences with only 3 or 4 words, super short, super direct. Instead of like, good morning, what can I get for you today? It was maybe more like coffee, 2, or sandwich. Yes.
Simplifying right down.
Exactly. And the result, instant understanding. The ladies got it. They bought what they wanted. Everyone was happy and comfortable.
Really?
And the boss explained her thinking later. She said, we have to do everything possible to make them feel comfortable. Her point was, if people feel understood, if they feel at ease, they don't just buy something once.
They come back.
They come back. It's good business, but it's also just good communication.
Yeah.
Adapting your output to match their input level. It's not just about being clear. It's about building that comfort, that connection.
That's such a crucial insight. It's not about showing off how much English you know. It's about making sure the other person understands. And the teacher actually broke this down further, linking it to vocabulary levels. It really helps make sense of why the boss's strategy works so well.
Oh, interesting. How did she explain it?
Well, she laid out these sort of benchmarks. First, the 1,000 word level. People here can speak about some basic things from everyday life. Sentences are usually short, like 4 words. Communication is basic, maybe slow, but it works, especially if the other person helps.
Okay, so like the ladies in the cafe.
Exactly. That was their level. Things like, I want coffee, hot, with milk. Very direct.
Got it.
Then there's the 2,000 word level. Here, she said, conversations are easier and the sentences are longer. This is usually enough for everyday stuff, talking about your family, hobbies, job, travel. Like, I enjoy reading books and watching movies in my free time. Most students in the class were apparently around this level.
Right, more comfortable, more detail.
Yeah. But maybe they'd still struggle with, like, deeper conversations on specific topics.
Okay, and the next level.
3,000 words. The teacher said it's good to know 3,000 words if you want to have deeper conversation on many topics. This level is often enough for communicating in English about almost everything. They can get into more complex stuff like, I don't know, the economic impact of globalization is a complex issue. You get the idea.
Yeah, much more nuanced.
So the point was, the learner's boss instinctively went to their level. She dropped down to that 1,000-word style to connect with the ladies.
She met them where they were.
Precisely. Effective communication isn't about using your biggest words. It's about ensuring they receive and understand the message. So for you, listening, knowing these levels helps you figure out where you are, maybe, but more importantly, it helps you adjust your speech when you talk to others.
It makes you a more flexible communicator.
Exactly. More empathetic, more effective, just better at connecting.
That framework of word levels is super practical. It really demystifies why sometimes simple is better. And that leads us nicely into another huge challenge. Shyness.
Yes, the confidence barrier.
Totally. In one class, a student just put it out there, really bravely, I think, asked the teacher, I am very shy when I have to speak English. Can you help me to overcome my shyness?
Wow, that takes guts to ask in front of everyone.
Doesn't it? And the teacher's response was just brilliant. So validating. She immediately said it's natural that we feel uncertain or shy when using a foreign language. Why? Because the possibility of making a mistake is great.
Acknowledging the fear.
Exactly. Just hearing that acknowledged can be huge. And then she got personal. She shared that she still feels it sometimes learning Spanish. Admitted she sometimes blushes if she messes up.
Oh, really? Even the teacher?
Yeah, but then she added, but I don't care much about it because she knows only by using it I can improve.
That's the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have to use it, mistakes and all.
That was her core message. Care only about communication. Your goal isn't perfection, it's connection. It's getting your message across, even if it's clumsy at first. She reminded them it is not possible to skip several levels in one day.
It's a process, a gradual climb.
Exactly. And she urged them to appreciate how far they'd already come. Look at what you already know. You've already gone from 0 to 2,000 words. Appreciate it. Focus on the progress, not the gap.
That shift in focus is massive. Celebrate the wins, however small they seem.
Right, instead of beating yourself up for not being perfect yet.
And that links directly to what I call the perfectionism trap. It's such a big mental block for language learners.
Tell me more about that.
Well, the teacher really nailed it when she talked about this common feeling that to know English means to be able to speak like a native speaker. You know, the whole package. Perfect pronunciation, perfect grammar, and just speak perfectly without any mistakes.
Yeah, that impossible ideal.
Exactly. And the result of aiming for that impossible target, students feel stupid, they are embarrassed because they're not perfect, they become very hard on themselves. Every little slip feels like a catastrophe.
It freezes you up.
It does. But the teacher just cuts through that. She told them straight up, it is not necessary. All of you are great because you already speak some English. She reassured them that shyness can gradually go away if you just keep working at it, keep practicing.
So the more you do it, the less scary it becomes.
Basically, yeah. Confidence builds with experience, with those small successes. So the message for you listening is, let go of needing to be perfect now. Perfection is way down the road. Your current level is fine. It's valid. Every time you try to speak, that's a win. It's all about progress, step by step, not instant flawlessness.
Letting go of perfectionism, that sounds so freeing. Just focusing on communicating, getting the idea across.
It really is.
And that connects to another really common frustration. You know, when you're trying to say something, you have the idea, but the word just isn't there. It's on the tip of your tongue.
Ah, yes. The worst feeling.
Totally. A student described it perfectly. I want to say something, but I don't know the word. I feel very stupid. And what happens then?
You clam up. You avoid saying it.
Exactly. You just stop talking, maybe. But the teacher had this game-changing piece of advice. Learn how to describe the word.
Ah, circumlocution. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the technical term? She gave a great example. You can't think of the word key? No problem. Describe it. A small thing for opening a door?
Simple? Effective?
Or like, you forget the word fridge. You could say the big white box in the kitchen. It keeps food cold.
People will get it.
Right. And she pointed out, we already do this. You describe words in your native language without realizing it. When you forget a word or you're explaining something complex.
That's true. We do.
And the technique she recommended for practicing this skill in English, thinking aloud is a very good technique. Train this ability.
Ah, interesting. Just narrating things.
Yeah, basically talking yourself through things in English, describing what you see or do. It builds that muscle of finding alternative ways to express yourself when the exact word escapes you. It's such a powerful tool to keep the conversation going. It absolutely is. And, you know, this ability to describe, to talk around a word you don't know, it's fundamental when you're not a native speaker.
Why do you say fundamental?
Because, let's be honest, You're probably never going to have the exact same massive vocabulary in English as you do in your first language. That's okay. The goal isn't perfect word-for-word translation in your head.
Right. The goal is getting your meaning across.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Clear, effective communication. The teacher said you can describe almost every word. You just need to train this skill. It's about being flexible, using the words you do have to express your ideas, building that skill, circumlocution, as a core part of your communication toolkit.
So practicing thinking aloud really builds that flexibility muscle.
It does. By narrating your thoughts, describing things around you in English, even just to yourself, you're actively practicing finding different ways to say things. It really tackles that common issue head on. How often do we just stop talking because one word is missing?
Way too often, probably.
Right. This method gives you a concrete strategy to push past that block. It keeps communication, not linguistic perfection, as the #1 goal. And it builds confidence, showing you that you can be understood even without knowing every single word.
That is such a liberating way to think about it. You don't need all the words, just the skill to use the ones you have effectively.
Precisely.
Okay, so moving on from missing words, let's talk about talent. That loaded word in language learning.
Ah, yes, the talent question.
The source introduces Sophia, a new student from Argentina, and she voiced something I bet a lot of listeners have felt. She said she doesn't have a talent for studying languages.
Why does she think that?
Because her sister learns really fast, picks things up seemingly without effort, whereas for me it is difficult. She saw her sister mastering phrases quickly, getting the pronunciation right away, while she felt like she was struggling with every single step.
The comparison trap.
Totally. And the teacher did something interesting. She asked the whole class, okay, hands up if you think you have a talent for languages. Our learner, watching this, noted, nobody puts their hands up. Not a single person.
Wow. That says a lot, doesn't it?
It really does. It shows how widespread that feeling is, that lack of belief in one's own talent. So let me ask you listening, do you think you have a talent for languages? Why or why not? It's worth pondering.
It really is. And this whole idea of talent, what it even means in language learning.
Mm-hmm.
Is it some fixed gift only a few people have? Or is it something else? The teacher's perspective on this was, I thought, truly groundbreaking, really empowering.
How did she frame it?
Our main point was incredibly simple, but it hits hard. She said, essentially, you already have a talent for learning languages.
How?
Because you already learned one language, which is your native language. You learned it fluently. You mastered this incredibly complex system without even trying, really. That proves you have the talent, the innate capacity.
Huh. I never thought of it quite like that. Learning your native language is a massive feat of talent.
It absolutely is. Now, she did acknowledge that, yes, super talented people exist. Those folks who just seem to soak up languages, who remember new words very fast and for a longer time, who find it genuinely fun and easy. She even guessed this might be Sophia's sister.
Right. Some people do seem to have an extra knack for it.
They do. But the problem, the teacher stressed, isn't that they exist. The problem is that we compare ourselves to these people.
There it is again. Comparison.
Exactly. So her advice was crystal clear and so important. Please do not compare yourself to these super talented people. It's just not helpful. And then she broadened the whole idea of talent. She said, look, you might be super talented too, just at other things.
Like what?
Maybe you're amazing at singing or a natural swimmer, or you can cook like a chef or fix cars like nobody's business. People are not all the same, she said. It is the beauty of this world.
Celebrating different kinds of talents.
Exactly. So the message becomes, now you can believe that you are all also talented for languages, maybe not super talented, but talented because you learned your first language.
Okay, shifting from no talent to talented, just maybe not super talented.
Right. And here's the kicker. She argued that when you believe that you are talented, learning English will be easier for you. That belief itself makes a difference.
The self-belief actually helps the learning process.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
It reframes everything.
Hmm?
Talent isn't some rare magic dust. It's the capacity you've already proven you have. The focus shifts from worrying about innate gifts to focusing on consistent effort, believing in your ability, and recognizing you can do this because you've done it before.
Wow, that really flips the script on talent. It's not, I can't, it's, I already did this once, I have the wiring, I just need to work at it again.
Exactly.
Hugely empowering.
And that naturally leads us to another big misconception.
Yeah.
What does fluency actually mean?
Well, that's a good one. Lots of confusion around fluency.
Yeah. Our learners shared this great observation from a party. There were two Brazilian guys there, and their English was, well, basic. They spoke only in short sentences, maybe like me, beer, or music, good, that kind of level.
Okay, very simple stuff. Very simple. But here's what struck the learner. They were extremely funny, and crucially, they seemed able to speak fluently.
Interesting. Basic words, but fluent delivery.
Apparently so. Smooth, no long pauses, just keeping it going, making jokes. This really got our learner thinking. They asked the teacher later, it was really interesting to see that somebody who doesn't know many words can already speak fluently. But I know some students who are at a much higher level and have a hard time speaking.
Ah, the classic paradox. Knowing lots of words, but struggling to actually speak smoothly.
Exactly. It really challenges that common idea of what fluency is, doesn't it? It's clearly not just about how many words you know or how perfect your grammar is.
No, definitely not. And the teacher, again, just cuts right through that common myth. She pointed out, many students think that fluent speaking is fast speaking with a lot of words in perfect grammar.
Yeah, that's the image most people have, I think.
It is. But it's often unhelpful, even intimidating. Her definition was much simpler, much more achievable. Fluent speaking is speaking without long pauses.
Without long pauses. Okay.
That's the core of it. Being able to keep the conversation flowing, smoothly connecting your thoughts into speech. And she explained that you can achieve this kind of fluency even with just 1,000 words or 2,000 words. Meanwhile, someone with 3,000 words might still not be fluent if they're constantly hesitating, searching for words, breaking the flow.
So it's about the flow, not the volume of words.
Precisely. And she used this fantastic analogy to explain why. She said speaking is like playing a musical instrument.
Okay. How so?
Well, you can know all the notes on the page, right? You can know the theory, but to actually play a song smoothly without jerky stops and starts, you need practice. You need to train the connection between your brain and the muscles in your mouth.
Ah, the physical act of speaking.
Exactly. It's a physical skill. And this explains that incredibly common feeling, knowing the words, but not being able to say them in the moment.
Right. The words come to you like 5 minutes after the conversation ended.
Yes, that frustration. The teacher said if that brain-mouth connection is not regularly trained, then you can't speak fluently no matter how many words you know. That delay happens because there's been little training in making that connection automatic.
So it's like muscle memory for your mouth.
That's a great way to put it. Muscle memory for speech. And the solution, obvious but crucial, practice speaking.
Just got to do it.
Yep. She recommended speaking for at least 30 minutes a day. Could be with a real person, teacher, friend, classmate. Or, if that's not possible, using techniques like thinking aloud just to yourself.
So even talking to yourself counts as practice.
Absolutely, because you're still engaging that brain-mouth connection. The key takeaway is this massive reframe. Fluency isn't about perfection or speed or knowing everything. It's about smoothness, automaticity. It's a skill you have to physically practice, train those muscles, build that automatic pathway.
That physical analogy really makes sense. It changes speaking from this purely mental test into something you train, like running or playing piano. You need regular workouts.
Exactly. Daily practice builds that fluency muscle.
Okay, so we've got the mindset shifts, the practice habits, but what about the more formal side, like finding a good school or teacher?
Right. The practicalities of structured learning.
One student asked that very direct question. How do I know if the school is good or not? Fair question, especially if you're investing time and money.
Oh, very fair. And the teacher's advice was super pragmatic, basically. If you're paying, you need to see results.
How do you measure results?
She actually suggested a specific website, testlanguages.com, to check your vocabulary size. Do a test before you start, then maybe after 5 lessons, do it again. See if your word count is actually going up.
Oh, that's tangible. Objective data.
Yeah, a concrete way to track progress.
Yeah.
But she also added something else, just as important.
What was that?
She said, it is also important that you enjoy every lesson and you look forward to the next one.
Ah, the enjoyment factor.
Crucial, because if you dread going to class, if it feels like pulling teeth, how long are you realistically going to stick with it? Consistency is king in language learning, and enjoyment fuels consistency.
Makes total sense. If it's fun, you'll keep doing it. If it's a chore, you'll find excuses.
Exactly. So progress plus enjoyment, that's the sign of a good fit school-wise.
But what about learning without a school?
Well, connecting this to the bigger picture, while the teacher acknowledged schools can speed things up, she also put forward this really empowering idea. She believed that when you read, listen, and speak a lot, you don't have to go to a school. You will learn English naturally by using it.
So dedicated self-study and immersion can work just as well.
Potentially, yes. It's
Yeah.
all about that active, consistent engagement with the language. And interestingly, she mentioned she herself offered private lessons via Skype.
Oh, right. So good teaching isn't limited to a physical classroom.
Not at all. A good teacher can connect with you anywhere. But then another student, Monica, asked this really deep question. She asked the teacher, how do you know all of this? Where did you learn information about studying languages?
Yeah, basically asking, what's the source of your wisdom, teacher?
Exactly. It goes beyond just teaching methods to the actual foundation of her knowledge.
That's a great question. How did the teacher get so knowledgeable? What did she say?
Well, she outlined a few key things. First, plain old experience. She mentioned having more than 7 years of experience teaching English. Constantly observing, seeing firsthand what worked and what doesn't with real students in real situations.
Okay, learning by doing. Makes sense.
Second, deliberate research. She said she would study materials about learning languages on the internet. So keeping up with theories, new ideas, different approaches.
Staying current.
Right. And she didn't just read about it. If she found something interesting, she'd actually test it in one of her classes, see if it worked in practice.
Like a little experiment.
Exactly. And if it proved effective with those students, then she'd start using it more broadly in all her classes. So it's this cycle of experience, research, testing, and refining.
A very practical, evidence-based approach.
Totally. But then she added something else, something a bit more mysterious.
Oh, what was that?
She talked about her magic park, a place she goes to find answers when her usual methods, experience, research don't provide them.
A magic park. Seriously.
That's what our learner called it. The learner was fascinated and naturally asked, where's the magic park? Can we go there too? You can just picture the students leaning in, right? Hoping for a secret shortcut.
Absolutely. Like, show us the magic. So what is this park? Is it actually magic?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. The teacher explained it's a real place, a 10-minute walk from the school, a place she goes to physically.
Okay, so real park.
A real park. But the magic seems to be in how she uses it. She goes there to relax my body, I slow down my breathing, and I try to free my mind. Get into a calm, receptive state.
Like meditation almost.
Sort of, yeah. And in that state, she asks the question she needs an answer to. She genuinely believes that if you ask the universe for an answer, the answer comes.
Wow. Okay. How does it come? Does a talking squirrel appear?
Huh? Not quite. She said the answers arise in different ways. Sometimes as a new idea in my head, sometimes inspiration strikes later, maybe talking to someone or watching a video, or she might just wake up the next morning with the solution clear in her mind.
So it's more about opening yourself up to insight, maybe, tapping into intuition.
That's how I interpret it. She
Yeah.
said, what is interesting is the fact that the answers keep coming. She did add a disclaimer, like, you don't have to believe what I am telling you, but this is what I do and how it works for me. She described the park itself as beautiful, having a very nice atmosphere, so maybe the environment helps. But for her, it clearly felt magical.
So the message for us isn't necessarily go find a magic park.
Probably not literally, no. But I think the implication is broader. It's about encouraging a more holistic approach when you're stuck. Don't just bang your head against the wall using the same methods.
Try something different.
Yeah. Maybe step away, find a quiet space, reflect, ask for help, as she put it, even if that help comes from your own subconscious making connections or from noticing something unexpected in the world around you once you've posed the question. It's about being open to answers arriving from less obvious places, trusting that broader intelligence, perhaps.
That's actually quite inspiring. It suggests solutions can come from quiet reflection, from intuition, not just from hitting the books harder.
Right, a different kind of problem solving.
Okay, so we've covered accents, adapting speech, shyness, missing words, talent, fluency, finding resources, even magic parks. It feels like we've gathered all these amazing puzzle pieces. So how do we put them together? How does this all translate into a practical daily plan? A student actually asked for exactly that. A summary with rules on what we can do every day to learn English well.
The million-dollar question. What's the daily blueprint?
And the teacher gave this beautifully simple summary, just 3 core things.
Okay, I'm ready. What are they? Her fundamental principle was this. You have to read, listen, and speak. Those are the 3 pillars.
Read, listen, speak, okay? Seems straightforward.
It is, but here's the crucial part she emphasized. You need balance. You do all these 3 activities about the same amount of time.
Equal time for each.
Roughly, yeah. She warned that if you neglect one, say, you read a lot but never speak, then your progress will not be as fast as it could be. They all reinforce each other.
Like a balanced diet for your brain.
Exactly. And she gave a minimum time commitment based on her experience. Use English actively for at least 90 minutes every day.
90 minutes total, so like 30 minutes for each.
That's the basic idea. And importantly, she stressed this isn't necessarily 90 minutes of formal study. It's 90 minutes of active engagement with English. Reading something interesting, listening to something engaging, actually trying to speak.
So it's more about using the language than studying it in the traditional sense.
Precisely. Active use over passive learning. It provides a clear, doable daily routine that focuses on enjoyment and real-world application.
Okay, let's break down those 3 pillars then. First, reading, 30 minutes a day. What kind of reading?
She was really clear about the purpose of the reading. It shouldn't feel like a chore, like you're just studying. You should read to get some new information or to enjoy an interesting story.
So read things you actually want to read.
Yes. News articles on topics you care about, blogs, interesting websites, maybe a novel or a graded reader if that's your level. Find stuff that pulls you in, because when you're interested, you absorb more and you're more likely to stick with it.
Makes sense. Learning happens best when you're engaged.
Definitely. Okay, second pillar, listening. Also, at least 30 minutes every day.
Same principle here. Listen to interesting stuff.
Exactly. Choose something which you are interested in. She suggested starting simple, if needed, maybe audiobooks for learners, news podcasts that speak clearly. Then, as you improve, maybe around that 2,000-word mark, branch out into films, TV shows, YouTube videos, stuff with more natural conversation.
Use subtitles if needed, I guess.
Sure, especially at first. The goal is active listening. Trying to catch the main ideas, maybe pick out some new words from context, getting used to the rhythm and flow of natural speech. It keeps that ear training going.
Right. Consistent exposure. Okay, third pillar. Speaking. 30 minutes daily. This one feels like the hardest for many people.
It often is. And the teacher acknowledged that, of course, the best way is to speak to real people. A teacher, classmates, maybe language exchange partners, friends, colleagues, ideally someone around your level or a bit higher.
But what if you don't have anyone to talk to regularly?
That's the reality for many learners. And this is where her practical advice really shines. She said, if you can't find partners, don't worry. You can still get effective practice using shadowing and thinking aloud.
Ugh, those techniques again. Shadowing, repeating what you hear.
Yeah, listening to audio and speaking along with it, mimicking the sounds, rhythm, intonation, great for pronunciation and flow.
And thinking aloud.
Just talking to yourself in English.
Yeah.
Narrating your day, describing what you're doing, planning out loud. She admitted she does this herself all the time for her Spanish because she doesn't have daily native speakers to practice with.
So even these solo activities actively train that brain-mouth connection.
Absolutely. They keep your speaking muscles working, build fluency, even without a conversation partner. It means there's really no excuse not to get your 30 minutes of speaking practice in.
Wow. Read, listen, speak, 30 minutes each. Focus on interest and active use. It sounds so doable.
It is. It's a sustainable routine. And the proof is in the pudding, right? The learner whose story we've been following. 1 year after finishing that class, applying these methods consistently,
What happened?
they knew 4,000 words in English, doubled their vocabulary from the 2,000-word level.
Incredible. Just from that daily routine.
Apparently so. And not only that, they felt confident enough to start teaching English to beginners, using the very same methods their teacher taught them.
Passing it on. That's amazing. It really shows the long-term power of just consistently doing those three things.
It really does. Simple, but profound.
So what a journey we've taken. From figuring out accents, that ear training idea, to cleverly adapting how we speak, tackling shyness by focusing on communication over perfection, learning to describe words we don't know.
Redefining talent as something we all have. Understanding fluency as smoothness needing practice.
Right. Finding good resources, maybe even tapping into a bit of magic park intuition. It all comes together.
It boils down to that incredibly clear, actionable blueprint. Read, listen, speak.
Yeah.
Consistently.
Yeah. The learner in the story internalized it so well, they became a teacher. They embodied the change.
Exactly. Which I think raises a really important final question for everyone listening.
Okay, what's the final thought?
Well, knowing now that you do have the talent, that you learned your first language, and knowing these clear strategies, the daily practice, the ways to overcome fear, what's the one small thing, the single small action you are going to do today to embrace that interlanguage talent and just speak a little more freely, a little more confidently?